these people.
Okay, we are.
They just.
Good afternoon
Hi, Dan.
and welcome into the Senate Committee on Government Operations Committee meeting of Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. In a perfect world, this was going to be our final week of the session. I don't think we're in a perfect world.
In our previously budgeted.
That's right. Up first for our consideration is our continuing look at H 935 and Act relating to emergency management. And we are joined by, I don't see Tim Devlin here yet, but Daniel Batesy, who is Deputy Commissioner of the Vermont Department of Public Safety. And I don't know whether Richard Hallenbach is going to be joining us or not, but he is on the agenda. He is the Director of Finance and Administration. So welcome in, Dan, and I'll just let you begin. I think I know which section we're going to be talking about. Does everybody have draft number 2.1 of 935? It is a 32-page bill.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
And I believe section 12 is the one we're going to be talking about, but I could be wrong. Maybe we'll talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. So Dan, welcome in, and what could you offer us today?
Good afternoon, everyone, Mr. Chair. First, let me apologize. I'm in an airport today, making my way home from a board of directors meeting down in Georgia. So I'm certain that the moment I start speaking of anything meaningful, there'll be some announcement about wheelchairs or flight boarding or something like that. So I apologize in advance. I am joined by Rick Hallenbach, our finance and business administrator as well. I'm mostly here to answer your questions, but I will say that the one portion of the bill that we had some concern with was in particular over some changes that were made, I understand, in the Appropriations Committee about allocating a particular portion of that funding to a specific project in the Capital Mutual Aid District. Our concern primarily is that the Public Safety Communications Task Force made a very specific set of recommendations designed to improve the infrastructure of the entire state, looking at the communication system as a whole, as opposed to the fractured one-offs that we've historically focused on. We made great progress with this bill as we have made it to your committee with.
Dan, you keep cutting in and out, sadly.
I'm sorry.
I guess every time an announcement is made at the airport, you're cutting out. And now you're frozen.
Yeah. I'm going to pause.
Maybe you could turn it off. I think it works a little better.
Yeah, let me try that.
Yeah. Senator Morley, do you have a question?
Did you know where in the bill?
Section 12. Okay, page 26.
No, I got it.
Oh.
It's just,
Is that any better at all?
Yes.
yeah, it's the money he's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the internet connection here is not the greatest. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So I'll be short and sweet then. Our concern is mostly that the Appropriations Committee has pushed some money specifically to one area of the state. And I think our concern is that we're going to have a number of other folks coming up and saying, hey, how come we didn't get that money that this one particular portion of the state did? To be clear, we think that there's an ample opportunity to try to help the.
Are you gonna invite a folks in here, or are you gonna go talk to a folks?
It's not our.
No, we should.
Maybe if we ask Richard to speak instead of Dan.
Well, we couldn't do that. Yeah. Dan, you've haven't left us, but we can't hear you anymore either.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think it's the terrible Wi-Fi, and which, by the way, was working perfectly fine 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So can Richard speak for you? Is Richard able to testify in with what you were going to share with us?
I don't think that he's going to be able to offer a whole lot of insight, but what I can do is offer you, I'll put some stuff in writing in just a moment here and
Well,
pass
we
it
can hear
along.
you now. We can hear you.
Yeah. The concern again is mostly about the appropriations changes that were made, earmarking those funds to a specific area of the state. Again, your committee and the appropriations committee has all the purview in the world to spend this money however they see fit, and we won't stand in the way of that. But our concern is that we're going to hear from a whole lot of other stakeholders saying, "Where's our appropriation?" And again, our recommendations with the task force have been for the entire state, not for particular parts of the state.
Can you answer the other question that has come up? I believe it was in 2022 that we initially appropriated 11 million. And then I thought a couple was spent doing different things. So there was 9 left. And then I thought that this was the 2.25, which is in this bill. Does that leave any money still, or is this the last part of that original 11 million?
The 2.5 million is the last part of the original 11 million. However, so we did spend about $2 million putting the comprehensive plan together with the Public Safety Communications Task Force, employing the various technical stakeholder experts that we've brought into this mix. The first 4 elements of this bill, the one that you have in front of you, account for the largest recommendations and the largest share of the money. That is computer-aided dispatch, GIS systems, some infrastructure improvements that will take advantage of some work that's going on with the state police network. These infrastructure improvements are not for the state police, mind you, but rather, since we're going to be up on the towers anyway, we're going to do some work up there that will help all the network go through. So with all of those in consideration, there's a remaining 2.5 discretionary as we went forward. That's where appropriations said, no, we want this to go to the capital area mutual aid.
And you summarized correctly. It was at, I believe, Senator Perchlik's request that we heard from a member of the Central Vermont Planning Commission and also the deputy fire chief of the city of Barre. Those were the 2 folks that were in here on April 17th and asked us to at least consider their request that this appropriation be made to them. We don't really, well, I don't want to say we didn't get involved. We heard their testimony and then it went, although we haven't passed the bill, that's the other sort of strange part about this, is we still have the bill here that we've got to vote on, but the appropriations committee has already made a decision that doesn't agree with the bill. So I don't know where this is going to land. There's a conference committee that meets tomorrow, from what I understand. Representative Feltus has already reached out to me and asked me if we could provide them with written testimony from the 2 witnesses I mentioned earlier. When they appeared, neither of them left any written testimony. So unless you listen to the YouTube from April 17th, you wouldn't have any idea. So, Senator Beals.
I just want to make sure I'm fully clear. What we're essentially doing, or what appropriations did, was take $2.5 million from the Department of Public Safety that is supposed to serve the whole state and give it to a individual county organization.
It's a planning area.
Okay.
Because there's 3 towns that are outside county.
That's right.
Having taken no testimony from the Department of Public Safety where they're taking the money from?
That I don't know. I don't know whether they appeared before folks or not.
Okay.
But in the 25 word or less statement you made, I see that as being accurate.
Okay. Yeah, because I know we had the 2 folks in from the Central Vermont group.
Mhm.
And I think at that time I had asked that we hear from public safety. So we sort of heard from, because sometimes I think there's agreements made that's totally fine, but it doesn't sound like that's the case here. Okay.
Any other questions for Dan? And it would be great if you could provide some written, I don't know if I want to say testimony, but just at least an explanation of how you and DPS envisioned the appropriation of this 2.5 million, which,
Well, isn't this what he envisions? What's in the bill?
No, doesn't sound like that is.
well,
No.
no,
Well, it is what we envision. In the bill is what the Public
He-
Safety Communications Task Force recommended.
So
that-
Dan, let's just clarify that. You're supporting, correct, the way it's allocated on page 27. That's what I hear
In
you
our
say.
bill.
Not what appropriations did.
Right.
Not what.
That's
it
correct.
did, but it's like read the words. He supports the word.
That's where I got looped.
So appropriations took it and they
And
really
made
wanted to be
policy.
Did
That's
what they
correct.
do.
and then they passed it.
okay,
Oh, well, we still have the bill.
However, we now can ask for this to be addressed in conference.
You can.
We can ask, but
Can ask.
I feel like
We have a
appropriations was a
member
little
here.
out over
We
their
have
skis on
very
this, making
effective
policy
member
while
here
we
who
were
can
working on the
lobby.
bill.
As
I think if we passed the bill out more quickly, it might have made a difference. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't know.
Who's on conference? Anybody else?
Perchlick,
Senator
Westland, and
Lyons,
Lyons,
West-
the usual suspects.
Wow.
And I'm sure Robin Shy, Marty Feltus, and I can't remember the third person.
Marty is,
I can't remember.
Anyway, okay. Is there anything else you want us to note, Dan?
No, Mr. Chair, I'll just leave by saying it's not that we dispute the virtue of the Capital Area Regional Planning Commission's request. I think they have a real problem they're trying to address. It's just as we, as a Public Safety Communications Task Force, are looking at the broader system, not the specific issues here. So while I applaud their efforts, it's just difficult for us to support that.
Okay. Well, you're welcome to sit in the terminal and continue to listen.
just what airport are you in that has such bad internet?
Yeah, Savannah.
Savannah. I'm going to avoid the Savannah airport. For a
Yeah,
while.
it's rough.
Internet better.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
I will. I'll be glad to send a quick little summary as well, just to make
That
sure
would
that
be-
it's been clear.
that would
I'm
be
sorry
great.
that
Yeah.
I'm sorry this has been a little patchwork on you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And to whatever extent we were not able to do what we might have done a little more quickly, I apologize, but I didn't expect, I just thought that everybody was in agreement and obviously they're not. So yeah, that would be helpful. Richard, do you have anything for us? I saw you popped up once before there.
Nothing to add, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Does anybody have questions for either Richard or Dan? Okay. Well, we'll await your written piece of testimony and thank you very much for your work and we'll see how things develop.
Thank you, everyone, and I'll work on that right now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, what do you think?
I am inclined not to take previously appropriated money from departments that are doing what we asked them to do, to just hand it off to someone else. And I too appreciate that what needs to be fixed and solved. I just feel like we gave that to DPS to do a regional, like a larger state solution, to take it from them to solve a small areas of a regional problem seems contradictory to the work we asked DPS to do.
Senator White?
Mr. So I agree, but I guess this is where I'm getting confused is we have nothing we can do about this as a committee. If I'm understanding where the game is, because it's approach is who's made the change. So really our only choice is to kind of go over there. But they've already voted on it.
Conference
They-
committees.
So it's really just conference committee is where we're at. Okay,
That's where the bill is, yeah.
okay. So that's,
In the budget, that's how the way the budget passed.
and none of us are on that. So it's really just advocating to Rich and me or Jenny.
Right.
Okay.
And then I can't remember what when it goes to the floor.
Up or down? Day or day, no changes.
Right.
I think it's bad.
I don't know
What's a bad move now? Sorry,
what appropriations did.
several bad
Oh, I agree.
appropriations.
That's why I voted no on the budget.
You have the freedom.
You have the freedom too.
Sorry.
You are free and able to do what you wish to do. Doesn't mean it doesn't come without consequences, but you do.
Okay. Badly, there does come with consequences. Okay, so,
To Senator Vyhoski's point, it is, when it gets to the floor as a report from the conference committee, the other senators have no ability to change a comma in it. It's either yes or no. So the time, and I think they're meeting tomorrow, the time for us to let them know, oh, it seems like the majority of the committee feels, would be quickly, because they can still change it.
so, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
are we tasking you with that responsibility of speaking to
I'm gonna, wait to get Dan's, it sounded like he was gonna
send
get
something
that done as quickly as possible, and then just,
and then speak to both chairs, not just Andy? I would speak also to Robin, because Robin included this language, I believe, in their bill. And
Yeah.
Lisa is,
I will do that. Did you want to offer any insight, Representative Hago, or?
Oh, sure.
Well, you don't have to.
Yeah,
We'd love
no, I do have something to say.
wanna
Representative Lisa
take the chair?
Hago.
Yep.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Representative Lisa Hango. I am the bill's sponsor, and I have a little background information. I was just trying to find the document, which I hope that I sent to you, Mr. Chair, a while back. I think I know where I can find it. It is a chart, sort of like a flow chart from JFO that shows the original $11 million that was appropriated in 2022.
Yeah.
And then there's amended language from the budget in 2023. And it shows how much has been used, how much is left to be used, and what we sort of designated it to be used for in this bill. And it does specifically show the $2.54 million that will be left at the end of 3 years. And at that time, our bill language that you're looking at specifies that this money could be requested by DPS to use to finish out their projects.
Is this what you're referring to?
Yes, that is it. And for some reason, I can't find it electronically. Thank goodness.
oh,
you
we have
printed
it.
out. Great.
That's right,
So
we have it
that,
in our 9:35.
that will really help
Pass that
you
down
all.
to Lisa.
Thank you. That should help you all because on the far right column in under H 935, which is this bill for emergency management, the total remaining available for allocation is $2,542,366. And you will see above that, there are certain allocations for all of this remaining $9,482,366. So that remaining money is the exact amount that Appropriations Next Door took for the purpose of this Central Vermont project. And if you read our bill, you can see on our bill that the language specifically states that DPS can ask for that money back. And that is on page 28, I believe, of your bill, your version of the bill.
How they keep slots back.
And it says at the end of the 3-year period described in the above subsection,
the Department of Public Safety may submit a request to the General Assembly to authorize the use of any remaining monies from the appropriations appropriated or held in reserve pursuant to 2022 acts and resolves and as amended by the 2023 acts and resolves.
Right.
Any remaining money shall not be used by the department unless authorized by the General Assembly. So when we built this into the bill with the help of House Appropriations, we felt that we had some secure guardrails, that this money was going to stick around for the use of DPS for, as Senator Vygotsky said, a statewide implementation of the greater project. They had once testified to us that it would cost something like $37 million to build from the ground up something from scratch. So really, this $11 million is kind of a bargain, even though everyone is saying to me, "Oh, so much money, they have enough money, they won't miss this $2.54 million. Well, I think they are going to miss the $2.54 million. And we felt that we had a guardrail on this. And I believe House Appropriations felt like we had an appropriate guardrail.
Mr. Chair,
Senator Funk?
may I encourage you to, represent and voice the sentiment of this committee with your chair of House Appropriations, and we will obviously do the same with ours. But I think, yeah, that would be, before the conference committee gets too far along, that would be great. On the Ethics Commission too, feel free to support that.
Thank you for
Let's lobby
this.
you on all the things we want the House put in.
Thank you for the suggestion. I have had conversations with the chair and vice chair of House Appropes and also the chair of Senate Appropes and various Senate Appropriations
Right.
members who may or may not be on the committee of conference. So as of Friday afternoon, I felt like I had talked to everybody I needed to talk to about this, and everybody was aware that I was not thrilled with this latest development.
Yeah.
And not to say that that's not a worthy project, because it is, as long as it stays within the purview of the Department of Public Safety and the task force, because they came together with this, the other members of the task force, and came up with this plan that is going to take a number of years to implement.
Well,
And I did
Take
not
it.
envision the money would be disappearing before they could even use it. So there's the whole business of putting out RFPs that takes a
Yes, it
really
takes
long time.
Senator Morley?
So basically, we're not listening to the task force. A, and B is the district or the area, the central Vermont area will still be potentially receiving some money, some funds through your bill.
I think so. This had not been brought to our attention that there was a shovel-ready project. So we did not know about it, would not have known about it for that occurrence of the money being taken and allocated differently. Even though you heard about it here in this committee, I did not know about it until after the fact. So I'm not really sure we're not listening to anyone. We just weren't really aware of this. And certainly any organization across the state that has a project ready to go should be talking to DPS. And
Yeah.
it was my understanding that DPS was equally surprised by this turn of events.
Senator Yossi?
Yeah, I'm a little sad DPS isn't still with us, because the way I had sort of initially understood the proposal was that there was extra money, that DPS didn't need that money. They had completed their work. And so I was really like, in that case, I was like, oh, so if there's extra money, give it to a shovel-ready project. But what I'm hearing now from you and from public safety is that money is being used. It's not sitting around.
Well, it was left.
It's
Or-
currently sitting,
Right.
it's currently sitting around waiting for RFPs to be, awarded. So
And they
that,
submitted.
yes, well, first of all, they have to ask for them. They did not have any authority to do any more work with that money until we granted them authority to ask for the remainder of the funds, which is $9.4 million.
Okay, but that's to continue the work that task force recommended. So
Yes.
it's not really extra.
No,
There was just a sort of check-in process. Like,
Yes.
okay, now this is what we're gonna do.
and that was the basis of the 2023 amendments to the budget, was that we're not just gonna let them say that they have $11 million and do whatever they want for the next 10 years on it. The appropriations committees really wanted them to check back in and say, this is what we've already accomplished and this is what we would like to do. Could you please let us have additional funds?
From the money
Which
borrowed
is-
that's sitting there waiting for you.
Yes, exactly.
Right, so I mean, it also sort of additionally to like what I said previously, it also feels like that money is sitting because we told them you need to check in with us how to use it. For us to then say, well, you waited and checked in with us, now we're gonna take it away, feels just like the wrong thing to, I mean, they were doing what we asked them to do. I imagine if we hadn't asked them to come and check in with us, they probably would have already used it to do whatever it is they are doing.
I think they had to check in with us to get any additional money. They used what they could.
Right.
And then needed to come back and ask
Yeah.
for more. And this all came out of their report that they filed in January, on January 15th. It's on House GovOps webpage. And it was a really comprehensive report. They had a lot of great ideas, but they could not use that money unless they proved to us that they had things they were going to use it for.
Well, it just goes to show that sometimes when the budget presentation is made, it is so dense and it's hard to, and we have not passed this bill out yet, so it didn't sort of appear on my radar that I'm sure it was reported. I'm not saying that it wasn't. It was probably in a line item somewhere that just got by. I'm a little bit curious why it took this long for someone such as yourself to kind of flag it, because the budget went out well over a week ago, right? I think.
Yeah, it seems like it was the Friday before this past Friday,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, I think there had been talk around the building, but I didn't really, I guess I didn't have proof that this was exactly what happened
Mhm.
until House Appropriations was able to dig into it. And they had been looking for this because they had also heard that it had happened. But it took a while to dig into it, and I think it was in something like section C-113, maybe. I'm not really sure exactly, but it was in there. Representative Feltus did a really good job digging in and looking for it. So I think this was the case of being really hard to follow the money to begin with, which is why I requested the chart. And that the chart was extremely helpful, but it took me probably 2 months to understand
Hmm.
the whole JFO piece of this, and I'm not sure I even have the best grasp of it.
Senator Clarkson.
Lynn, do we have the JFO fiscal note on our website? Because I don't have a printed out copy of it, so I can't see that chart. But it's on our website, we can look at it.
And if I can
Yep.
interrupt, this is different, this chart, than the fiscal note. There are two different,
Oh, I thought it was attached.
Oh, it is.
might be, is it? Okay, thank you.
So which one are you looking for? If we have a fiscal note on this, if we have the fiscal note on this bill on our website.
Okay.
That's all, just so people can access it as we talk about it. You don't yet, but I'll work on it now. Oh, great, that would be terrific.
I may be able to send you something because I might know where it is, Lynn.
Oh, it might be on your website?
I try. I have it electronically somehow.
Well, anyway, appreciate you coming in. We will, I will talk with the members of the conference committee to see where they want to be on this.
I appreciate that very much. Just to establish that it's within the Department of Public Safety's purview, and it would really be helpful if all the parties could work together under that umbrella. That's really all I'm asking at this point.
That's good.
Thank you.
Maybe mention to your conference committee, your side.
Absolutely.
I see Eric Forehand in the room. I'm not asking you to get necessarily knee deep in this particular issue, but is there anything else in this bill that we need to do before we move it?
I don't think there's a need to do. It looks like most of the stuff that really concerned us was changed. The only thing I'd like to point out is there was 2 grant programs that were created, but not funded.
Right.
So, whether or not that's necessary to create them without the funding, I'm not really sure. But, you know, with the caveat that if DPS can find funding somewhere else, and we certainly can.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the changes you made to the USAR technical one, creating it, moving it over to the program manager, that's what we asked for while there was still money there. But, you know, if you just struck the whole thing, it gets you to the same spot at this point because we don't have capacity to do.
Yeah. Senator Clark?
So on funding in this arena for those particular grant program, for those particular programs that you wanted funding for.
Well, I didn't ask for either one of those, just to be clear.
It's extra work for you, you mean, and you aren't particularly.
It's in our wheelhouse, but the food bank was asking for,
Right.
neither of those are in the governor's budget.
And then the other one was.
A micro grant for USAR, so some local teams could probably, so none were in the governor's budget, so I'll leave it at that.
Well, that says what it says.
And then they're both removed, and there was some others that are removed and then put back into the bottom where if available. But otherwise it looks pretty clean.
So unfortunately that they were programs that you owned, as it were. You might well be able to find funding for them elsewhere, but as they are programs that the governor doesn't approve of asking money for, that means you probably don't own them.
Correct.
And are not going to go pursuing money elsewhere. Yes.
Per the wording, it seems that I would eventually own it, but yes, the idea that we could generate funding somewhere through the governor's budget would be problematic.
Well, but grant programs, you can find funding all over the place. I mean, you could find funding FEMA or from Northern Borders Regional Commissioner, you know, where.
Well, I'm not aware of Northern Borders having any kind of emergency management grants available at this time. They just,
I just used it as an example.
Understood.
Maybe FEMA might, I don't know what, I mean, I don't think of FEMA, at the moment being very supportive of a lot of these efforts.
But you could look at it this way, specifically on the USAR, we're working to get their budget to what it needs to be.
Right.
So then having a sub-grant under them, pushing money to other entities isn't necessarily our first priority.
Got it.
It's a great idea and they're great shells, and the same with the food program, both of them on paper.
They're both valid, right?
So just putting it out there that right now there would be shells for a little bit, or you can strike the entire thing, whichever, but otherwise it looks good. Thank you for your work.
Sure. Any other questions for either Eric or Tim Devlin? I don't know if we have any questions for Tim, but this will be 2.1. And my again inclination is to divvy it up with maybe 3 reporters, just handing it off to one another.
okay.
Are you looking for a motion?
Oh, yeah, reloading.
I guess, I mean, I'm trying to think whether there'd be any sense in holding on to it for another day or 2. Go ahead.
I'm just thinking. I guess it doesn't matter. I would just be from a bit more clarity, let him go speak with.
Oh, yeah,
Tom,
or maybe
and
should
maybe
find
there's
that out
something
first.
we could add into here before the vote. I don't know, but it just seems like we're a little early.
Okay.
Just my think.
Is there anything else?
I agree, given the sort of spot that we're sitting in right now with not quite knowing what's happening there. Maybe it turns out there is something we can craft in here to fix. I think we should hold it I don't think we necessarily need more testimony. I just think we need to figure out
No,
what
Rob.
the moving pieces are.
Yeah.
So I concur, Senator Morley.
I'm glad
Okay.
you two are on the same page.
I guess that's what we'll do. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. You're still gonna be with us the next hour or so. Let us take a break. And we have S 298, the Voting Protection Act, coming up. Shea Waters Evans will join us along with Tim. And
Is it possible for us to take a break until 2:45 and begin whatever we were planning on doing, like walking through the house changes?
Sure.
With Tim, and then let Chip just because we have the event in the House Chamber at 4, I'm just hoping that we'll be able to.
and we have a
And then we have.
Chairs.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, let's
Of course.
No, you didn't.